From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. It is a Monday, Ole Miss, Carolina, Saturday, 11 a.m. for that tilt between the Rebels and the Gamecocks. Normal Monday stuff as far as press conferences. We'll bring all that to you. We'll discuss it here on the podcast tomorrow. And since it's Monday, we'll look at lines. We'll talk plenty of other stuff. Got a story up this morning on maybe Ole Miss should run the ball more in the red zone, what that means from an analytical standpoint. We'll discuss a little bit of that today as well. You can read the full story at rebelgrove.com. Neal's 10 weekend thoughts are up, and much, much more. So we'll get into it this morning. I have a bit of a cold. I think I'm going to make it all right, but if I have to stop for a second hack, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can this morning. It seems like every time I get a little bit sick, it always affects my voice, and we're back there again right now. But it's not strep. Don't have a sore throat. I'll get through it. We'll all march on this Monday morning. Maybe head on over to the Oxford Exxon. The maple bourbon shakes are at the Oxford Crystal. Help me out a little bit from a voice standpoint. Maybe the actual bourbon, not the maple bourbon shake. But nonetheless.
I think you should gurgle some bourbon.
Gurgle?
Right now. Gargle.
Right?
Gargle, yeah, don't gurgle. On South Carolina week, let's not do that.
Gurgle.
Yeah.
That's a misstep there.
It happens. It's Monday.
Is that the excuse?
Yeah.
It's like Jay and them always get on you for your pronunciation of multiple words, the way you do it. But
yeah, Jay says that I'm not Southern enough with my pronunciations. I don't really know what that means, but it is what it is.
Program.
Yeah, I say restaurant instead of restaurant. I don't think there's a right or wrong way, but Jay's very hung up on the Southern vernacular portion.
Is it because he thinks it bothers you?
No, I think he just thinks it's weird.
Jay thinking things weird is an interesting step. But
I think he knows by now it doesn't bother me because I continue to do it. Because it's just the way I pronounce things. It bothers people. I get stuff about it all the time. Which is odd, but whatever.
So, Oxford Exxon, get the bottomless refill, 49 cents for that one. You get the Stadium Cup whenever you head in, just 49 cents for a large fountain drink. This weekend, they can take care of your tailgate as well, and a couple more opportunities for that. They've got court-size sides, 3 slabs of ribs for $33, pulled pork, and much more there at the Oxford Exxon. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
Well, Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900, 662-257-1900. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark, tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for, and he'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple. It's right to the bottom line. No haggling. It's just super simple. And you get your quote, and then it's up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can let Corey and the people at Clark Ford do for you what they've done for so many others, self-included, and that's take the hassle out of the everyday car buying experience. You get a great Ford product. You get phenomenal service after the sale. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. It's hard to explain what that means, but if you call to get your quote and you start going down the automotive purchasing path with Corey, you'll start to see what I'm talking about. He'll go the extra mile to make you his customer, and you will be the one that benefits from it. So 662-257-1900. Mention that you heard about Clark Ford on this podcast or any of our family of podcasts, and you will save $500 off the bottom line at Clark Ford in Amory.
How was your reunion?
It was good. I didn't go to the whole thing.
If you're going to go, why not go to the whole thing?
Well, we just couldn't get out of here Friday.
Okay.
Caroline was a little sick. She had stuff. She had to go dance or whatever where did Oxford play? Hernando, maybe? Not Hernando or Horn. Maybe it was Hernando. I don't know. They had to go dance somewhere. And I don't know. We kind of wanted to make sure she got back.
South Haven?
It may have been South Haven. I don't know. One of those schools up there.
Yeah, I don't know. They won.
Yeah, Oxford won.
Yeah. Done pretty well in 6A this year.
Yeah, they've hung in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Cuckle's done a good job.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
The Chargerettes are undefeated. Just saying. I mean, nothing against the Oxford Chargers. They're a nice football team, but they don't have the record the Chargerettes have.
South Haven Chargerettes. If that's aren't in South Haven the Chargers.
Really?
I'm way beyond your pay grade now, aren't I?
You're way out of my league. I have no idea.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyways. I mean, the Chargerettes, whoever they played, they dominated them. That's for sure.
Didn't want no smoke.
No. Nobody wants the Chargerette smoke. So anyway, we wanted her to get back and stuff. So we got up Saturday morning and left early and got to Ruston at, I don't know, it was like 1:15. Had lunch.
Okay.
Watched some of Northwestern and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I was pretty pleased with
the
my
boys
pick.
pulled it off.
They did. My fellas. And then we drove around Ruston. Took 5 minutes.
I said, what'd you do with the rest of the?
I showed Laura Tech. She needed to see Tech. Laura's has been a little hung up on Campbell and
Tech.
Well, just knowing that Tech is probably significantly cheaper, and I think a little closer, and we know people there. There's a comfort level there. There's lots of there's lots of phone numbers that Campbell could put in her phone for. Hey, I have an emergency.
Of course, yeah.
Here's this list of people that I could call in Ruston, and it would be 50 numbers.
It was Hernando, by the way.
Hernando.
Yeah. 23-22, Oxford win.
Go Chargers.
Hernando, the home of Bradley Sowell.
Yeah. Currently with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, she needed to see it. And once she saw it, this is not an insult to Louisiana Tech. I mean, I have a lot of soft spot for Louisiana Tech in my heart. And went to 2 summers there, and I like Tech. Tech's a cool place, but it's small, and it's not what she's used to. She's grown up around, and I think that was good. Laura got to see. Oh, okay, I kind of understand now. And then we went to a bar in Ruston. Saw one of my dad's old work mates there. Talked to him for a while.
All right.
Went back to the hotel. Watched Missouri choke. Just choke.
And get screwed. The call at the end. It's not pass interference. The ball was not catchable. If anything, it was offensive pass interference.
Here's the problem. I agree with you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you can't have 8 3-and-outs in the second half. I understand that.
But what I was going to say is, it's the part of the replay that I don't like.
Uh-huh.
I kind of wish you could replay to see if the ball was catchable.
But there's no. It's a judgment call on whether a ball's catchable. There's no
right
automatic.
But once he throws
there.
the flag, I wish on a play like that, I really kind of do. I wish you could kind of go back and look at it.
Hey, let's take a shot here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why the official threw the flag in the heat of the moment.
Yeah,
I
sure.
do.
Yeah, I do too.
And then, but come on, it comes down to 8 3-and-outs.
Yeah.
Get a couple of first downs and you win the game. Score a touchdown. I know it's a novel concept, and the game's over. At the end of the day, it comes down to Missouri choking more than Missouri getting screwed.
They're not going to win, but Kentucky can clinch the SEC East Saturday against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah. And they're not.
No.
But
the winner clinches.
It's a cute story.
Yeah, it's good.
10-2. Yeah.
10-2.
Potentially 10-2, and that Kentucky, that's
oh.
They'll be talking about it forever.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, and then we went to the thing that night.
How was the dinner?
It was very drunk. I mean, it was nice.
Drank more than you ate?
Yeah, I hardly ate at all. And
well, that probably was dumb with the drinking.
Yeah. But it was fun. Saw people that I hadn't seen in 30 years, classmates and teammates and stuff like that. It was neat.
Okay.
Yep.
Good enough.
Yep.
Multiple people had asked me if you had gone or not. I actually did not know the answer till I saw 10 Thoughts last night, and just giving them a little recap because they were very concerned, interested. In
the funniest picture is me and Miss RHS posed for a picture 30 years later. She aged a lot better than I have, which is no surprise, but yes.
What does she do now?
She's in Ruston. I think she's married to an attorney. Her daughter was on the homecoming court at LSU this year.
Okay.
Yeah, she's an LSU girl.
Okay.
I think she met her husband at LSU, and they ended up in Ruston after they were in Dallas or something for a while.
All right.
Incredibly nice family, as you might expect.
I'm going to get on over with football in 1 second. I'm going to ask what you would have done in this situation, though. So, as I've been telling you, it was partly sponsored by Visit Oxford. The great 38 runs were over the weekend, and this was really a beginner screw-up that I fully own. I don't know what I was doing, but when I got to the starting line, I realized that I still had my key fob in my hand. I did not put it somewhere, hide it, do whatever, so I was not dealing with a key fob. And the shorts I had on have a pocket for a key, and if it's just a regular key, okay, put it there, no big deal, whatever. And I thought, all right, I guess I'll put it in that pocket. It's like on the back right below your waistband.
Yeah.
And I did. And like 100 yards into the thing, it's bouncing. I'm going, I can't do this for however long. This is going to suck. So then I pull it out. I'm like trying to unzip it while I'm moving and whatever. So I get it. And I'm parked kind of close to the route. And I'm going, okay, do I jump out of route, go put it on my tire or something, just go sit it by my car, and then get back in thing, or do I don't? And I couldn't make my mind up. And I stalled too long to do that. Ended up carrying a key fob for 8 miles. It drove me insane.
Yeah, I would have just carried it.
You would have carried it too?
Yeah.
I wrapped the little ring around my finger and just kind of held it.
Yeah.
And it bothered me for an hour. It drove me nuts.
Well, and anyone who's never run doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
When you get into habits with running, and if you violate the habit at all,
mentally I was already going, okay, something's off, something's different. This sucks, and it did. I moved it from hand to hand, from finger to finger. I did 12 different things with this stupid key over the course of the run. So,
you don't think you could have gotten used to the bouncing?
No, the bouncing would have driven me insane because I was worried about it over time, pulling my shorts down a little bit, just changing, because it's just do every step.
The only other thing you could have done was you could have thrown it. Do you wear compression socks?
No, I didn't have any on. I didn't wear them.
I was going to say you could have thrown it into a compression sock.
That might have been better. Yeah. But no. So, anyway, I just wondered what you would have done there. That's all I have.
I can remember for marathons, you would carry those goos,
Oh, yeah.
And you would put them in the zipper in the back.
Yeah.
And I hated when the zipper was heavy.
Yes, I'm saying it's just it's
like
weird.
to the point where I thought about running without goos. It drove me that crazy. So I completely understand. But you needed the goo because I can't eat. Well, I can, but I won't eat fruit. So every 7 or 8 miles, you needed to pop a goo just to keep your energy level, because otherwise you get to 18, 20 miles and you're out. The tank is completely empty.
Yeah.
And now you're in trouble.
You still got a 10K.
And now you're in trouble. Yeah. And so I can remember as that got lighter over the course of the day, but I would always carry an extra pair of contacts in my.
You basically needed a fanny pack for all the stuff you're carrying around.
Yeah, well, I tried a fanny pack once, and that drove me insane.
Bouncing?
Yeah. And so I would put those in there, and I can remember by the end when all the goos were gone and I just had the contacts in there, you could feel the edge of the contact case, the individual contact thing, just kind of scraping into your lower back.
Oh gosh!
And you had to just block it out. Like, okay, forget it, just run. You become it's so funny at that point. You know how this is, because you don't have to. If you're running a half marathon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't have to run the whole thing. You're cognizant of nothing and everything at the exact same time.
That's what I was about to say. You're mentally very strong and a mental midget all at the same time.
Well, a bomb could go off around you. Pardon the pun for anybody who was in Boston. I'm sorry, it's the wrong analogy.
Yeah. But
something could happen around you and you wouldn't hear it, yet you're aware of every little thing happening with your body. You're just best I can ever express it to people is that you are literally in your own little world.
So, going to get into football a pretty good bit. Got some different things to talk about today. We got lines. I will give Neal, however, a chance here to discuss the new sponsor for the recruiting podcast, the Soft Verbal. with Russell Johnson and typically yourself, as it is back this week thanks to one particular entity.
Yes, really want to thank the people at Dead Soxy. That's DeadSoxy. Want to thank the people at Dead Soxy. They are the new title sponsor for the Soft Verbal podcast, and you'll be hearing about them here on the Oxford Exxon podcast as well. Jason Simmons is the founder of Dead Soxy. He's a Mississippi native, an Ole Miss graduate. Chase has been wearing Dead Soxy for a while.
I have.
This has been something we've been working towards for, months. And we've had some of the product.
We've got basic ones. We've got the crazy-looking ones,
Yeah.
a lot of different stuff.
We got that. They're fantastic. They're it's hard for me to explain to you, and I'm getting to this. It's going to sound, you can relate to this. You're a runner. If you run a lot, or if you're on your feet a lot, or if you have developed calf muscles, you know what I'm talking about with socks. Sometimes it's a little bit of work to get them up over your calf, and you tear them, the cotton socks. Not to name any brands, but there's some brands out there that they're it's a $10, $11, $12 sock, and they tear easily. And once they tear, they're no good. And if they don't tear, they're falling on your leg over the course of the day, and you're spending your time pulling your socks back up. You'll never do that with Dead Soxy. They go on easily. They stay up. They're soft. They stay soft. It's a premium sock that stays up. They breathe.
That's the biggest thing to me.
You can be on your feet all day long on a hot Mississippi day, and the socks breathe. There's a reason for that. They're made out of bamboo. They breathe. Bamboo's like the hot thing. They've been on bamboo before bamboo was cool. They're not reinventing anything. As they say, it's just a better mousetrap. But it's a much better mousetrap. Go try them. Go to deadsoxy.com. Try them. If you don't love them, Dead Soxy will refund your money 100%, no questions asked, and you'll keep the socks. We'll make it even better. See if they stay on. See if they stay soft. See if they're the best dress sock you've ever worn. If they are, you'll love them. If they're not, for whatever reason, let them know. Call them. Tell them, hey, I didn't like them. They'll send you your money back, and you can keep the sock. Go to checkout at deadsoxy.com. Check out all they have to offer for men, for women. They have the no-show socks. If you're a loafer wearer, and I've never understood you people that can wear loafers and not put socks underneath them.
Doesn't bother me at all.
I don't know how you do it.
I do it all the time.
I don't know how you do it. But if you want to wear a loafer and not see the sock, they have great socks. They have socks in that regard as well. Go to checkout. Enter the code Rebel Grove at checkout. You can. It's not case sensitive. You can even put the space in. You can leave the space out. Rebel Grove. You get 25% off of your order just by entering the code Rebel Grove at checkout. It's deadsoxy.com.
And it's not overly case sensitive. It'll take it pretty much however you put it in, right?
It will take it uppercase, lowercase.
No get gear issues here.
Nope.
So just throwing that in there for you.
If you notice at checkout after you entered a code that there's not a discount,
yes,
you entered the code incorrectly.
Try again.
Go back and enter the code Rebel Grove. Just Rebel Grove, one word, or you can put a space in between it.
You can?
Yep. Either way. Either way.
Okay.
There you go.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Good enough. What day is that coming this week? What are we doing schedule-wise with the podcast?
I think we're going to shoot for taping on Wednesdays when nothing's going on. And then, of course, recruiting being recruiting, there will be times that we'll have to tape it on a Tuesday or we'll tape it on a Thursday. Honestly, I'm hoping to tape it on Wednesdays because Thursdays becomes such a heavy podcast day for me otherwise.
Okay. We'll get into football pretty deep here in 1 second. Before we do that, I will also tell you about MasterCuts with Christmas coming around the corner. They want to keep your home looking up to par throughout the holiday season. They offer a variety of outdoor Christmas decorations. Will transform your house into a festive staple of the neighborhood. They provide everything from lighting and garland to inflatable characters. Whatever your vision may be, design a custom display unique to your home. And the best part, all the decorations you pay for, you keep them. They'll keep and store your decorations until they're ready to go up next year, or you can store them as well. That option is yours. So start a tradition your family will cherish for years to come with MasterCuts. for a free quote, 662-607-7773.
My 10 weekend thoughts are up at rebelgrove.com. They're sponsored by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He has been in Oxford for more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you are looking for, and then send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com. That's ha@harryalexander.com. This podcast is also sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi, but it represents clients in 24 states as advisors in 3 states. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Their decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. Cookie-cutter financial planners put you in a box. At Pinnacle Trust, a box is built just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee.
So, looked at the red zone issues for Ole Miss. Matt Luke talked about them in a lot of detail last week. I'm sure they'll be discussed to some extent again today during that media op. But what I found interesting is Ole Miss very pass-heavy in the red zone relative to national averages. Stories up at rebelgrove.com, and it looks at only against Power 5 opponents because we've established by this point that Ole Miss has done incredibly well against really bad defenses, against lower-level defenses. That's not of dispute. And the games remaining are all against SEC teams, so obviously Power 5 opponents. So in the 5 games this year against Power 5 opponents for Ole Miss, they are scoring touchdowns on only 35.3% of their red zone possessions. That's 113th nationally. The national average is 58%. And when you look at it and kind of break it down, they've run the ball in the red zone really well. They just don't do a lot of it. When you break it down in between pass and run, Ole Miss 92nd nationally in rushing percentage in the red zone. They still throw it a ton, and it is not paid off in touchdowns. When you look at what they have done, they can run it, but it looks like they just need to run it more. That almost looks like one of the more basic, easy ways for them to improve red zone production as this thing moves forward.
I don't know why at times they've gotten away from the running game like they have. Now, against Auburn, they did try to run it in the red zone, and it didn't work. They got beat up front against Auburn. That's bottom line on that game. I've heard a lot of people – I've kind of gone back and watched it. I've heard a lot of people talk about, Longo and Longo this and Longo that. When you get beat at the line of scrimmage, it's just kind of hard to overcome anything. And they got beat at the line of scrimmage against Auburn more times than not and basically admitted it as much the last week or so. South Carolina's an interesting test for Ole Miss. They don't do anything great, and they don't do anything badly. They're a very average.
They're average
team
all the way around. I mean, just if you say, hey, prototypical SEC team, that's it. Just average, median team.
Yeah, they literally don't have any weakness. They don't have many strengths. They're going to play hard. They will look at this game Saturday as a game they can win. They have, 3 SEC wins this year?
They're 4-3 overall. I don't know what their league record is.
They've beaten Tennessee,
Missouri,
and Vanderbilt.
Okay, yeah.
So they got 3 wins. They're looking at this. This is a chance to get a 4th SEC win going down the stretch. There's no doubt that's what they're thinking. I think the weather's going to be nice. It's going to be interesting. Can Ole Miss run the football against them? Because I think that's what this is all about for Ole Miss. I've thought that's what it was all about all along. Because if you can't run the football against the team, it's just not going to work consistently if you can't have some semblance of balance. It doesn't have to be traditional balance, But you just have to have some balance. If a team can stop your running game without having to bring a lot of extra stuff and get you into some third and longs, breaking, it doesn't work.
Do you think the problem is more just middle of the field getting there, or is it red zone? I mean, how do you kind of put into grasp what the deal is?
I don't know. Look, I think Phillips is a good back.
Yeah, he's been good.
I'm not convinced he's a great back. The interior of their offensive line is a very good pass rushing offensive line. Pass blocking offensive line, I should say.
Right.
I'm not convinced that they're road graders. I haven't seen them just go dominate a good team. In fact, they've played 3 good defenses this year, and they've lost all 3 of those battles. And again, South Carolina's not as good up front as Auburn, as LSU, as Alabama. Now, they're better up front than Arkansas. They're better up front than ULM, Southern Illinois, Kent State, Texas Tech. They're better up front than those teams on defense. What South Carolina is going to be able to do, I'm afraid, for Ole Miss's sake, is I think they're going to be able to control clock and run the football. I think they ran for 220 against Tennessee. And Tennessee's defense is better than Ole Miss's. I think they're going to be able to run the football and control clock. It's going to come down to that same thing it always comes down to for Ole Miss, which is offensively Ole Miss has to produce points consistently. Can't have a bad quarter and a half. Probably can't overcome that.
We all liked him going into the year. Had a lot of flashes last year. What's been Jake Bentley's deal? Just blah.
He's had some injuries. People scouted him. People have a better plan in year 2 against a guy. And he's played hurt. Hadn't been super sharp. Probably hadn't felt great. Been just sort of blah, like you said. Found a way to get it done against Tennessee. Not impressive. That being said, I would give Jeremy Pruitt some credit. I've made fun of him all year, and I'm not convinced it's the best fit in the world, but his team has gotten better over the course of the season, period. They have gotten better. Played well against Auburn and won. Forget the Alabama game. Nobody plays them close. And then played pretty well against South Carolina and probably should have won the game till it got away late. Had a chance to win the game anyway.
Right, of course, no. They've gotten competent against the middle to bottom of the league, and for year 1 for Tennessee, that's pretty good. That's not a bad step for them as they move forward. Here's the eye-opening stat. I mean, obviously, because with Ole Miss, you play defense too in the red zone, and it's why Ole Miss has to be so perfect offensively. Is looking at the Ole Miss defense against Power 5 teams in the red zone. They've allowed opponents to reach the red zone 28 times. That's 123rd nationally. And from a scoring margin standpoint, Ole Miss is getting outscored minus 54 in the red zone against Power 5 teams so far this season. That's 5 games, obviously, with 4 SEC games and then Texas Tech in the opener. And then when you look at all opponents, Ole Miss has allowed 44 red zone trips, which is the most in the nation.
Yeah, it's a bad defense.
Offense has to be perfect. You have to get down there and you have to score 7.
Exactly.
So it magnifies everything.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, God, we had to settle for a field goal. Oh, God, we missed a field goal. Oh, man, we had a penalty, had to punt. Those are killers. Other teams overcome that stuff. Ole Miss doesn't have the defense to overcome it.
17 Power 5 red zone trips so far for the Ole Miss offense. They've kicked 10 field goals, scored 6 touchdowns, and had one no points so far.
They need touchdowns. I mean, duh, but they do. Ole Miss probably going to have to score 30 points or more to beat South Carolina. Everybody goes, well, we always score 30 points. Well, you don't. You don't score 30 points against good teams so far this year. You got 7 against Alabama. They get against LSU. 13.
I went back and read a lot of 15.
15, and then 16 against Auburn.
Yeah.
So they've had 3 SEC games where they didn't get to 20. And you're gonna have to get to 30 to beat Carolina probably.
I went back and read some of the quotes from last Monday. It kind of seemed like, I mean, it was careful because it's on everybody, but I wonder if Matt was frustrated with Tamu doing a lot of throwing on RPOs in the red zone versus just handing it off and trying to get positive yardage, because Ole Miss averages about a half yard more than the national average when they run in the red zone, and they just have thrown it so much. They've had drops, they've had miscommunications, and his answer was, hey, it's on everybody, but yeah, Jordan hadn't been perfect down there with those decisions.
I think it's some of that. Now, in fairness to Jordan, I'm going to say this again. I went back and watched it. They got beat in the red zone on offense last week.
No, there's no doubt. Yeah.
When they did try to run, it didn't work. There was one possession where they had it 1st and goal, I think at the 8, maybe the 9, and they ran 2 plays and got 1 yard. And they could have run 2 more plays and gotten 1 yard. They weren't going to get there. So, I don't know. I think he was frustrated with his offensive line last week.
He was.
There was just a general frustration. They're not crazy. They know when they get down there, we got to get 7. Got to get 7 because there's a decent chance we're going to give up 7. Got to get 7. And when you don't, they knew they were playing with fire against Auburn. I remember us saying it right before the second half started. Auburn's going to break a play here soon.
Ole Miss should have been up by 10, and they kind of had to be up by 10.
Yeah, because you knew Auburn was getting ready to score some, and they did. They broke a play, got dominated the third quarter, and then the game was over.
Missouri going to fire Barry Odom?
I have a source close to the Missouri program who is concerned that yes, they're going to fire him.
Concerned they're going to.
Well, he doesn't want to have to cover a coaching search. My source.
Most people like coaching searches in our business.
I think my source would just like a nice holiday.
Missouri has not been the bastion of normalcy and
I think he would just enjoy it
lately.
I think my source would enjoy a break.
Do you actually have your bobblehead yet for Drew Lock? You do. It's over there.
Right there next to Ed Oliver. Just look at him.
I love the Ed Oliver bobblehead on a horse.
It's fantastic.
It is so good. Ed just riding a horse.
Ed just riding his horse, and Drew just...
Those Drew Lock bobbleheads have gone quite down in fashion as time has moved on. I mean, look, we all like him. A lot of buyer beware there. He has been bad against good teams. I mean, I don't think Missouri has beaten a team with a winning record since, 2016 or something. And he's 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions against either teams with winning records or ranked teams this year. I mean, there is a huge splice between his stats against bad teams and good teams. I mean, it's like Ole Miss in some ways, except much worse, frankly. I mean, Tamu has been better against the good teams than Locke has. He's been, frankly, fairly pathetic in a lot of those games.
Imagine being on the Missouri beat right now. Just listen to this scenario. Let me put a little light on for you. When we think we have it bad. Missouri has 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. They still have Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Arkansas left. It's conceivable they win 2 of those 3 games.
Sure.
That would give 6 wins.
They need 2 of 3 just for 6.
Yes. 6 wins this year in this league almost certainly means Shreveport.
Birmingham.
Probably would mean Shreveport. But maybe Birmingham. But probably Shreveport. Shreveport, a coaching search, and Drew Lock goes, and I ain't playing. All of that could happen.
Oh, God. Now Locke's going to play, but
I think he will.
He just is.
But
he's that guy. He's going to play.
Yeah, he's going to play. But that's what it could mean. Shreveport and a coaching search. Shreveport with the interim coach at 6-6.
I still think Shreveport's a better location than Birmingham. Am I wrong?
The problem with Birmingham is where the game is played. You got to go to Legion Field and hope for the best. Shreveport, it depends on whether you're into gambling or not. If you like to gamble at casinos and stuff, you at least have that.
Okay.
Birmingham's a great town. I mean, I lived in Birmingham and loved it. It's
a lot of really good restaurants in Birmingham.
A lot of good restaurants and stuff.
Restaurants.
But there's nothing to do.
And there is in Shreveport?
Casinos.
Other than casinos?
No. It's horrible.
They have a dog track?
They have a horse track.
Oh.
But I don't think it's open at January.
No. So you're playing the penny slots or you're hanging out. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you go find a place to drink.
I mean, Memphis is not in the bottom tier of the bowl games in the SEC.
No, Memphis, the way it falls.
Yeah.
Because I did this yesterday for 10 Thoughts. You get the...
You were trolling.
Well, I was desperate.
You were looking for a thought is what you were doing. I understand exactly what you were doing. But
and as long as Ole Miss is potentially has that hanging out, it's possible because they're at 5 wins. If they were to win a game and then get a successful appeal, we'd be talking bowls immediately, and I'd be ahead of the game. Right?
Sure.
So you get the playoff tie-in, and then you get the access, which would be the sugar, and then the Capital One goes next. And then the next 6, it's like Outback and Belk. And
it's 6.
6. They all get selected by the league.
So Outback has got thrown in that pile.
Yeah. And then Birmingham goes next, and then Independence. So Birmingham would get the first choice of what was left over, and they'd pick Auburn.
SEC office, just look at it. Hometown bowl.
Be a lot of that.
Just saying.
Be a lot of that.
So who's in trouble of being down there? Missouri,
Auburn. Unless Texas A&M loses to Auburn and then loses to – because A&M's got losses coming. I don't know. The league's kind of whatever.
Georgia looked confident on Saturday.
Yeah, they looked more than competent. They actually
playoff committee. Confident.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Kirby credit here. Looked like they got back to business. Looked like they got out of their heads out of the clouds.
It's the best I've seen Jake Fromm play. They didn't play the Phil's kid at all. It was just Fromm's game.
Had a hell of a plan and stuck to the plan and really kind of kicked Florida's ass.
Well, to me at least, it felt like Florida was going to take a step up, and they'd kind of been living on the edge anyway, and it was going to bite them again. It sort of felt like that even going in, that Mullen's going to get there, but not right now, and that was going to be an awakening moment for where that thing was, much like what A&M dealt with later in the night, frankly.
Yeah, I didn't get to see hardly any of that. It was on one of the TVs, but the for whatever reason, it was like rolling. Remember how the screens used to roll?
Oh, yeah.
The screen was like rolling. It was bizarre. So I only just saw a play here and there of Mississippi State and
Fitzgerald was competent as a quarterback on Saturday night.
Well, when he's competent, they're really good.
He was fine.
Because they're going to run it down your freaking throat.
Yeah, he was just fine. And they did that, I think, without Colin Hill. I don't think he played Saturday.
And they're a good defensive team. They are.
A&M hit a couple of big plays and then missed a couple of big plays, and you couldn't miss the big plays. You had to hit those.
I've had people ask me about the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss offense is going to have to be perfect. You're going to have an A game from your offense to win. A C game from your offense, and you get beat bad, honestly. Because State's going to be able to run the football against Ole Miss.
Yeah, you have to find a way to control some semblance of the tempo. You can't let them completely.
If I'm Ole Miss against State, I'm putting 9 in the box.
Throw it.
Let him throw it. And if he beats me throwing it, he just beats me throwing it. Because if he beats me throwing it, they were going to beat me. Tip your hat.
Yeah, but you can't let him just run it down your throat all day.
No, I can't. I can't play traditional defense. I'm putting ISOs on the corners, saying good luck. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And I'm stopping the run as best I can. And if I can't stop the run with 9 people, I'm just go ahead and take the trophy over there to them. You should have left it in Starkville anyway.
Let them bring it back.
That's what I would have done. I've been on record saying that.
You have.
I was right.
Let's look at lines a little bit for the week. I don't know how we did last week. I think I did pretty good in the league. I probably missed both the other games because
I got both of the other games right. I went 5-2.
Did you?
5-2. The key for me is to get rid of the
week.
It's possible. Get rid of the interns. Take this thing on myself.
And don't actually do the games that we have in the plan to do.
You know, they're called Neal's picks. That's what they're called. I do the lion's share of the work.
I'm surprised we didn't get Ruston, Louisiana trivia last week in Neal's picks.
You know, it's a damn shame I didn't think of that because we could have done the Ruston Natchitoches Central game, and I could have just put a line on it.
Oh, God.
Bearcats would have covered.
Would they?
Yeah.
They won?
Yeah, they won.
Okay. Are they any good?
I think they're okay.
They fallen from the McCready days?
Yes. In fact, the person that I was speaking to talked about that, how back when I was there, we were the dominant program in the state. I was like, you
had one of those back-win conversations over the weekend?
He kind of brought it up. Well, he made sure that he brought up the last game that I played, which was a loss.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
State finals?
We lost state semifinals. We lost to Covington.
Okay. Texas A&M on the road this week, coming off that loss to Mississippi State on the road. They are at the Auburn Tigers. Auburn, an interesting situation still this week going into the game. Texas A&M at Auburn.
I'm going to guess Auburn's favored by about 5.
Opened at 4.5. It's moved to 6 now. Auburn is favored by 6 points at home against Texas A&M.
Whew, big game for Gus Malzahn. What'd you think of him spending the weekend doing TV?
I thought it was a terrible optic. Terrible. It looked awful.
That's what I thought, too.
Just beating Ole Miss did not solve things over on the Plains for the ones that won his head.
Because you know if he loses, you just gave him, here's the weapon.
So if you'd have been looking at defenses more than over there doing that,
you could have been studying.
Hanging out with Houston Nutt.
You could have been studying the A&M Mississippi State game. But no.
Instead, you and Houston were talking about buyouts.
You were in New York. Eating at some fancy restaurant, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. That's what multimillionaires do when they go to New York.
Yeah. Could be a lot more of a multi-billionaire here soon. I mean, look, in all honesty, if you're Gus, I mean, I understand pride, and I'm kind of joking. But isn't there part of you, like in the fourth quarter of a really close game, you go, hey, if I lose this thing, they're going to fire me, and I don't have to go to work, I don't have to recruit, and they're going to give me $15 million in the next 30 days?
Oh, sure. You can justify your feelings easily next Saturday.
Hey, next Wednesday will be better for Gus with a loss than a win.
What's her name, Christy?
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
She's a little screw loose at times, but
yeah.
She stayed out of the radar a little more lately.
She has. I mean, they could go on the couples counseling tour.
They could. There's a path.
Heard that's a hot thing.
There's a path there, I hear.
Just go to the Panhandle.
South Carolina at Ole Miss. You already know this line. It's been moving around a little bit. Ole Miss opened as a 2.5-point favorite against the Gamecocks in Oxford this Saturday. It jumped as high as Carolina -1 that I saw. It's back down to a pick'em right now. Carolina and Ole Miss as a pick'em.
See, I get pick'em and I get Carolina -1. I didn't get Ole Miss -2.5. I mean, you know me, I'm not trolling here at all.
It's an interesting game because Ole Miss, at least analytically, has one unit that is really good, one terrible unit, and Carolina just has both right in the middle. So it's what happens.
You've got to believe, to bet on Ole Miss and delay points, you've got to believe that Ole Miss is going to score multiple touchdowns. You've got to believe that Ole Miss is going to get at least 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, 4. That's the number.
And probably add a field goal or 2 in there. You've got to believe that Ole Miss is going to get into the 30s if you believe that Ole Miss is going to win the game and lay points. And, man, I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I don't. But I don't know that I do, because you know Carolina is going to get at least into the 20s, right?
Yeah, no reason to think.
And there's no reason to believe Carolina's not going to get 25-plus points.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So you got to believe that Ole Miss is, like Chase said, you got to believe Ole Miss is going to score 4 touchdowns. Well, they haven't done that against a good SEC team yet. In fact, against SEC teams, they've scored good SEC teams, they've scored a total of 4 touchdowns. So you got to believe that they're going to triple their output against Carolina.
So far, 58% of the bets are on South Carolina, 58-42 right now on bet percentages. Still way early on that, but
I mean, if you put a gun to my head on yesterday afternoon when I saw that post and said, okay, you have to bet now, I would have said, give me Carolina +2.5.
Wait, 2.5. I want the points no matter who's giving them.
Yeah.
Give me points.
Give me points.
I'll take my shot there. So, no doubt about that whatsoever.
I will say this, and I wrote this in 10 Thoughts. I do not – people post what you want to post. Say what you want to say. Think what you want to think. This is a must-win game thing is malarkey. It's not. Matt Luke has a must-win game. It's called the month of December and January. He's got to win it. Because whatever he does or doesn't do is what's going to ultimately shape the coming spring and the 2019 season.
Got a thought on that. I'll go there in 1 second. First, take the podcast brought to you part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Stone County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing out of Memphis. They're getting local underwriting. It understands your market, a leader in condo financing and the float down option. So lock in the current rate. Rates go down, you get the lower rate. 234-2704 or JLOWE, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast also brought to you in part by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys you'll never forget, maybe that anniversary trip she'll never forget, whatever it is, you should talk to John Edwards before you try to do it yourself. Another thing you can you start thinking about is if you're thinking about your spring break trip, I know it feels like it's a million miles away. It's not. Space is filling up on cruises and resorts in Florida and the Caribbean. You say Caribbean or Caribbean?
I say Caribbean.
Okay, I do too. Also, if you're wanting to guarantee reserved tee times at golf courses in Scotland and Ireland for next summer, those are becoming less available by the day. So get in touch with John. He's a part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners. It allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available for other travelers. Here's the thing. So let's say you're thinking about that golf trip to Scotland, to Ireland. You just want to go. Maybe you don't know which specific course you want to play or which specific courses you want to play. Or you've got 5 days or 6 days and you want to play 4 courses. Give John some parameters. Tell us, hey, we want to go 6 days. This is how much we have. Let him give you some options. You'll be shocked at the stuff that he can pull up that you are not going to find on the internet, no matter how good at searching you are. He showed me some examples. It's the truth. Little things like a free breakfast, a discounted rate on a tour, that kind of thing. It's all there with John. So get in touch with him. You don't have to live in Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's a podcast that's also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. Grenada Nissan, located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi, has a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy Grass that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast or at rebelgrove.com. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar. Get that flu shot. I don't have the flu, but I probably could use a shot of some sort. But with G&M Pharmacy, they accept all major insurance providers, $25. If you do not have insurance for that flu shot, free. If you do, walk-ins are welcome. Head on over to South Lamar where they take care of you. If you use them for all your pharmaceutical needs, they deliver local in the Oxford area. You know, yeah, look, it's not must win. It's not. Every win is magnified just because of the overall malaise of the whole place. It's for a week, things get pepped up a little bit while you're waiting on the Vitter news, while you're waiting on all this stuff. Football just carries that almost a tangible element of happiness with it when they win a football game, and that's what this thing is about. It's a must-win because for 6-7 days it just kind of picks the place up out of the doldrums a little bit.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
It's misphrased, but that's what this is.
Right, and I'm good with that. When people do it's a must-win, win or else. No, it's not. It's not. It's not that. It's not that at all. 24 days till Mississippi State. 25 days till the day after Thanksgiving. The clock starts on Matt Luke the day after Thanksgiving.
No matter what happens,
got to get it right.
Days.
Got to get it right.
4-0 or 0-4.
Because as unfair or fair or whatever you think in today's college football, you can't lose. You can't lose the fans. You can't lose the public trust. You can't lose that. Because it's so freaking hard to get it back. And it's hard to get people. Look around the country. There are empty seats everywhere. Empty seats at places that didn't used to have empty seats.
There's no one at USC games right now.
Nobody. People say, is Clay Helton going to make it? Come on, look at the crowd. Is Barry Odom going to make it? Look at the crowd. There's lots of empty seats for SEC games on a nice day in October. Look at the crowd Saturday. Now, is that an indictment on Matt Luke? No, that's an indictment on Jeffrey Vitter. That's an indictment on the whole institution right now. People are not happy. But you can't go multiple years of empty seats. Can't lose that kind of revenue. The clock starts, fairly or not, on Matt Luke next month, the end of the month. Because he can fix it. And let's say, Chase, for kicks and giggles, they go 0-4. 0-4. Lose to Missouri. I mean, not Missouri, but South Carolina, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. Yet he makes multiple staff changes and brings in people that make fans excited, get kids excited, land a big recruiting class. That 0-4 finish is out the window. And hear me out. This is my point. When people go, no, Neil, you're wrong. Now let's say they go 2-2. Go 7-5, which is exactly what most people picked. The only people that said 9 wins were people who lie to you, propagandists, people who are so red and blue and brag about it. Those are the only people that picked 9 wins. Nobody sane picked 9 wins. So let's say they go 7-5, they go 2-2, and he only makes a change or two. And he brings in people that people go, well, God, I could have hired that guy. And they end up losing out on some recruits down the stretch and they don't finish well. Do you think those 2 wins are going to have any capital? No.
No, at 5-7 with great hires, you're in much more capital than you would be at 7-5 with poor ones.
It's my argument.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
doubt.
That's when people say, what do you mean these games aren't must-wins? That's what I mean. Now, you get into 2019, there could be some games that come up that are must-win games.
Yeah.
But right now, this is about him putting his stamp on the program, bringing in the right people, getting momentum going off the field, getting momentum going in recruiting, that kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about.
Georgia at Kentucky this weekend. We mentioned it earlier. The winner goes to the SEC championship game to face Alabama.
Have fun.
The winner goes. Either one. Kentucky can win this one, lose to Tennessee, won't matter. Georgia can win this one and clinch it as well.
I'm going to guess Georgia's like a 12-point favorite.
Opened at 12.5. It is now at 9.5. It is going down. Yes. 3 points have come off this puppy since yesterday afternoon.
What time's that game?
2:30 CBS.
Okay.
What?
No, I'd love to see Kentucky win. So would Alabama. Kentucky is an overtime loss to A&M away from being undefeated right now.
An overtime loss where in overtime they did not give the ball to Benny Snell.
In fairness, they did not give the ball to Benny Snell the other day on that big play. And Stoops was asked about it. He said, we thought that's what they'd key on. We thought they'd take that away.
The guy pushed off, too.
Yes.
It was offensive pass interference.
Yes, it was. You can't go 3 and out.
You can't go 3 and out, but there was so much protection there at the end on Kentucky.
Yeah. Let that be also an example for this. If you told me that there's a little internal pressure on the refs to protect the higher-ranked team, I'm in. It's not an Alabama thing.
They got call after call after call Saturday. Kentucky.
Well, when they showed signs of life.
Well, right. They're dead forever.
But come on, Missouri, don't give up a punt return for a touchdown. Don't let them back in the game.
When they had no chance of scoring.
No, they were done. They were done before that play. And then if you score again, they're done. But you can't do anything. You drop balls, and the play calling's terrible, and yuck.
Is this game going to get into the high 20s?
Yeah, Georgia's going to get into the high 20s.
So they're going to beat the crap out of them?
I think so.
Kentucky's pretty good defensively.
They are. They play hard.
They get down in the mud with you and kind of make it an ugly game.
And they'll have a massive crowd. The atmosphere at Lexington will be as good as it's been in
ever.
Yeah. I was trying to think.
They had back-to-back home games when they were a top 15 team with Andre Woodson against LSU in Florida.
And back in the Bill Curry days, there was one day that they beat Alabama in Lexington, and it was crazy.
I want to lock this at 9.5.
Okay, because you think it's going to fall or go back up?
I think it can go back up. So I want to leave this here
All
at
right.
9.5.
Just remind me.
Okay. Let's. And it's across the board. It's not one particular book. They're all at 9.5 right now.
So a lot of smart money came in on the Cats.
Or maybe. I mean, early on, usually it's a lot of just public crazy money early. The Sharps kind of wait a little later in the week because injuries and different things. There's no reason to go in way early.
Right.
And I'll look at that number in a second. I haven't looked at percentages on this one, but
okay.
Nonetheless, interesting game there.
Yeah.
For the SEC East, the obvious 2:30 game after we talked about times and stuff last week for that one. It's interesting. In Austin this week might be one you put into the rotation since you like putting other games into the rotation.
There's no rule against it.
West Virginia at Texas. The Longhorns are a 2.5-point favorite.
Ooh, I kind of like West Virginia in that game. That very well could make our
Also, by the way, Saturday, two things. One, great story on the professor that had his shirt off reading the book in the stands at the Florida State game on Saturday. Somebody from The Athletic wrote it. Have you not seen this?
I didn't see it.
So, LSU, Clemson's beating Florida State 52-0 or something at the time, which is oddly satisfying to me. I have no reason to really hate Florida State, but I like them getting hammered.
You know, it's funny. As I saw that score roll in,
it was kind of nice.
Yeah, and every time Clemson kept adding to it, I was like, yeah, good for you. Keep going.
Yeah, just score.
Yeah.
So they show,
I don't know what it is about Dabo, but I like Dabo. I want Dabo to win, and I don't like Florida State. I think they cheat and like more than most people, and so
I did not get along well with their beat leading up to the Ole Miss Florida State game in 16.
That's a lot of it.
There was some personal things that I got a little annoyed with that week. So it's 50-whatever to nothing, and ESPN or whomever it was pans up to the top section at Doak Campbell. Isn't it Doak Campbell?
That's good enough.
Or Doak Walker.
Doak Walker, Campbell. I don't know.
Whatever.
Florida State Stadium.
Yeah. Did Doak Walker go to Florida State? So is that what it is?
I don't know.
I'll look it up in a second. It's going to bother me. So it's a dude up there reading a paperback book with his shirt off. He's just laying back, got a paperback, flipping.
No rules against it.
So dude from The Athletic ran up there to talk to him because he was curious. And it was a professor at Florida State who just goes, I just wanted to get some sun today, so I picked the football game to do it. No big deal.
Yeah, no rule against that.
Hanging out.
There's no rule against that. Not hurting anybody.
Thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of funny.
How the mighty have fallen.
It is Doak Campbell. That sounded right, but then I started questioning it myself. I got a little confused.
Who's Doak Walker? He was the great running back?
Yeah, he went to SMU. Actually, should have known that. And I think I did know that, but I got it in my head a little bit. Florida State on the road in Raleigh, North Carolina, playing Dave Doran and the Wolfpack this week. The Wolfpack a 6.5-point favorite in that one against the Seminoles as they move forward. Purdue and Iowa playing this weekend, Neil, two of your heartstring teams.
Oh, yeah. I watched some of Purdue and Michigan State.
Purdue 2.5-point favorites over the Hawkeyes.
In?
West Lafayette.
Yeah. I'm for Purdue. I think we're all for Purdue right now.
Okay. I mean, not like Iowa has any negatives going on.
No, I'm not anti-Iowa. Just it's nice to see Purdue do well because I think Purdue lifts up Tyler Trent. And if Tyler Trent can take pleasure from Purdue winning a game, then by God, let's let Purdue win a game.
Penn State at Michigan this week. James Franklin, Shea Patterson, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, I think Michigan's going to win.
Wolverines favored by 10.
And I love them in this game.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Penn State struggled a little bit?
A little. Got a distraction coming at Penn State. It's coming.
Think so?
The James Franklin to USC rumor is going to get going.
Okay. Missouri on the road this week coming off that loss. They head to Dan Mullen and the Florida Gators this week.
Have fun.
Florida is winning this game.
I'm going to guess the line is like 11 points.
If you'd like to cut that in half, you can. It's currently at 5.5.
Oh, God, give me Florida minus 5.5.
All good there?
I'm great.
It opened at 6.5. It's down to 5.5.
There's no way Missouri has anything in the tank.
And Florida's athletic enough defensively to really get on Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Florida there. That one feels good. Charlotte at Tennessee, don't care, but Tennessee's a 21-point favorite, so we'll pick that one, I guess.
Yeah, and they'll probably cover that. Tennessee's playing better, and they won't quit.
Huge game in Evanston, Illinois. Northwestern hosting Notre Dame this weekend.
Ooh. Interesting. I'm going to guess Notre Dame is favored by about 9.5.
7.
Okay. Northwestern's capable of winning that contest.
They are. Notre Dame -7. I mean, Vanderbilt gave Notre Dame all they wanted that day.
And Northwestern's better than Vanderbilt.
Yeah, very similar teams, but yes.
Vanderbilt's not bad.
Defensively, if they can scheme you, they're good.
Yeah.
If they can scheme you. They just lose a lot of athletic matchups, but
They pounded Arkansas.
they did. It was not close.
No. But, I mean, on the ground, really got after them.
Louisiana Tech on the road at Mississippi State this weekend.
I'll guess State's favored by about 17 points.
21.5.
Yeah. Tech won a big game at Florida Atlantic Friday night.
Did they?
Yeah.
The Kiffin Trains had a rough year.
Had a rough year. Strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Boys and girls.
Someone has to take you.
They do. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting line. It's a big line. But Tech's not a particularly good team. They're stunningly average. And State's got a really good defense.
The annual CBS night game, Alabama LSU in Death Valley.
The line was 14.5, right?
It opened at 14 on this book, but sure, 14.5, 14, somewhere in there.
Lay 'em.
It's now at 13.5 or 14, depending on the book.
Lay 'em.
Largest home underdog for LSU since Jerry DiNardo was the head coach.
Lay 'em. Lay 'em all.
You lay them every time with Alabama, don't you?
Yep.
They don't cover a lot.
They'll cover
There's
this.
a difference in covering 38 and 14.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah,
they're going to cover this.
Oklahoma on the road at Texas Tech, who has played pretty well most of the season. The Sooners are a 10.5-point favorite in Lubbock.
Yeah. Oklahoma's going to win that game. They'll score. They'll score points in bunches.
This line feels too high because Jake Browning has become one of the more overrated people just on sheer name kind of recognition standpoint throughout his career. He hasn't gotten better. State's sort of the same quarterback. They lose to Cal last week in a game that I think was 12-10. I'm not sure Cal scored an offensive touchdown in that game and won the game.
Pac-12's bad.
It's awful. And Stanford headed to Washington this week. Stanford is getting 9.5 from Washington this week. Feels like too many.
It does feel like a lot of points.
For whatever reason, that feels like way, way, way too many.
How about Washington State?
Speaking of both those teams, Washington State at home against Cal this week. Gardner Minshew even had somebody writing about a potential invitation to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
Why not?
Yesterday. Oh, I'm all about it. I like Gardner a lot.
I mean, Tua's going to win it, but I mean, who are the other people that
Somebody else has got to go.
I mean, before the season, you would have said Drew Lock. Well, it's not going to be Drew Lock.
It's not going to be Jonathan Taylor at Wisconsin. He's had a bad year.
Ed Oliver's hurt.
Yeah.
If you think about who else goes.
Some dude's got to go. Washington State favored by 10.5 in Pullman against Cal.
I like their chances.
He's had a heck of a year.
And they're not gonna have a let up. They're
Huge
gonna
win
keep
on
going.
Saturday.
Oh yeah. Say what you will about Mike Leach, and I don't know how well it would or would not work in the SEC. I don't know. That dude wins, man.
He would drive fan bases crazy because of just sort of his laissez-faire attitude.
Yeah.
When they lose, he just sort of shrugs his shoulders and moves on with his day. It doesn't bother him.
Yeah, I've tried to think what would it like. There's some Ole Miss people that clamor for Mike Leach and stuff, and I get it. I do sometimes wonder how a Mike Leach would go over at a place like Oxford when he's not going to go recruit like mad because his attitude is, I'm not going to get those 5-star kids, and I don't need them. Now he's going to destroy bad teams. Going to get punched in the mouth by the really good teams. And then in these other games, he's going to win some of them, but he's Yeah, you're right. Laissez-faire is the right word. A lot of fans would start going, I just wish he cared more.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of his deal. And his Monday press conferences would be...
They'd grate on your nerves when he's losing.
Yeah.
Or after a loss.
Because he'd go into dissertations about whatever came to mind.
Who knows?
Like, if you told me that today he has a big take on gun control.
Botanical gardens, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, there's no telling. Yeah, it could be gun control. It could be botanical gardens. It could be anything. The election's coming up. There's no telling. He's not going to stick to football. Like, one of the things that with Luke that gets criticized is that he sticks basically to cliches.
Mike wouldn't.
And Leach is the exact opposite of that. And I don't know how that goes over when maybe you lost to Auburn by 2 touchdowns and he comes back in the next Monday and talking about he took a trip to the Botanical Gardens and he's really amazed at dandelions.
Yeah. Finish up the podcast in 1 minute. First, tell you about Visit Oxford. You can go to the website at visitoxfordms.com/events to see all the things going on in town, including the return of the double-decker bus tours this Friday. They are 2 p.m. on Fridays before all Ole Miss home football games, November 15th to 18th, the National 10-Minute Festival. The Nutcracker coming to the Ford Center on November 30th. You got the annual holiday market beginning November 30th as well and running through December 2nd. Pop-Up Oxford begins in January, and lots of many things in the meantime as well. So come to Oxford, check it out. Game day weekend, tons going on. Again, see the full calendar of events at visitoxfordms.com/events.
The podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person, all without having to press 10 buttons, without a 5-minute wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000. With Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded. OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. OUB is offering 1-year CDs at 1.75% APY, 3-year triple option CDs paying 2.01% APY, and with that 3-year term, customers can deposit once during the term, withdraw once during the term, and or bump the rate if OUB's 3-year rate rises. To learn more about OUB, check out Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB, FDIC insured. Podcast also brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So visit her website, meganmphillips.com. That's MEAGANM Phillips.com, or call her at 205-602-7929.
So I saw a bunch of headlines this morning. Saints get revenge on Vikings. No, winning a regular season game is not getting revenge on losing a divisional playoff game that would have set you up for a potentially winnable NFC title game last year.
No.
It was a nice win, but there was no revenge in that whatsoever.
What they did was they kept pace, and they set up a massive game against the Rams.
They did.
The Rams
are not really fair right now because they played a game against the Packers yesterday in L.A.
that they should have
where
lost.
They looked like crap for a half, and they were down 2 points. I mean, they should have been on 3 scores, and they're just sort of always in it right now. They're so much better than everyone else.
That was a really good game. Rams-Packers was a really good. And if you're the NFL, you're like, yes, this works.
They made it the national game of the week, and it delivered.
It lived up, yeah. And then the Saints looked awfully good last night. And I was flipping.
Drew Brees threw for like 120 yards, and they still dictated tempo and pace.
Yeah.
And
they looked awfully good.
2 turnovers changed the game. But
yeah, they looked awfully good, though. And I was watching that. I was flipping to the World Series.
The defense is coming into its own a little bit.
It is. It's getting better. This game Sunday with the Rams is a fascinating contest. Are you going?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a really good game. By the way, congratulations to the Boston Red Sox. Those of you who are lifetime Red Sox fans, you are now living the dream. 4 titles in 15 years.
You weren't cursed. You got good management.
Yes.
No one's cursed.
And people that go, they bought it. No, they didn't.
Everybody buys it.
Everybody buys it, but their core is home built.
Yeah.
They made a trade from their core to get Chris Sale. They have 2 big free agents on that team, Price and Martinez.
In the running, statistically, for maybe the best team of all time. I wouldn't pick them, but the
awfully good. The Bryce Harper sweepstakes officially begins in Vegas right now. Guess who's even money? The even money favorite.
The Chicago Cubs.
No, sir. That is incorrect.
Who is it?
The Philadelphia Phillies.
Is it really?
Yes.
Even money.
Even money. The Cubs are a plus 130. Really, nobody else is in it.
Yeah, other than the Celtics, Boston's been this tortured fan base since 2001. The Patriots have won in 01, 03, 04, 14, and 16. The Red Sox in 4, 7, 13, and 18. The Bruins in 11, and the Celtics in 08. Boston since 2001.
Had a good run.
I was glad they won. Yeah, I was.
I'm always glad to see the best team win. They're the best team all year.
I was glad to see David Price kind of turn his stick around a little bit.
He'll never hear that again.
Really good the last 3 games of the playoffs there. Mitch hits a big home run the other night for the Red Sox to get them back in it.
Steve Pearce turns into Babe Ruth. Happens.
A lot of SEC guys on the Red Sox, too. Just kind of looking around the thing.
Benintendi, Bradley. Yeah.
Price.
Moreland.
Pomeranz.
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of dudes.
Yeah, congratulations, Drew Pomeranz. Gets a ring.
Did he play?
I don't know. He gets a ring.
Well, yeah, I mean, not criticizing.
His ring will be just as sparkly as David Price's.
Yeah, talk about like the gift is getting added to that roster at the last second. Like, hey, yeah, come on with us. Okay.
Yeah, in.
Man, you got a ring anyway. Don't get me wrong.
He got up in the 18-inning game. He was getting ready to come in.
Right. And they thought he might start the next game, ended up not.
Yeah.
So what they were going to do there, but no, I mean I'm. By the way, Pierce played at South Carolina.
Oh, did he?
So, yeah. So a lot of dudes. The Rams probably win on Sunday.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, you think the Saints win?
Yes.
Why?
Home. They're not quite as good as the Rams, but home field makes a difference.
And in the NFL,
Rams are due a loss.
Yeah, but say, duh, but really hard to go 16-0. I mean,
nobody ever does it
at some point. So when you look at their schedule, this is a prime opportunity to lose a game because there are a lot of NFL teams that can't beat them.
They looked primed to get beat yesterday.
Oh, they were kind of ready to get. Yeah, it was done, but it just sort of.
What time's that game? 3:25.
Yeah, it's the national game in the afternoon.
Getting my stuff done.
They have a really interesting next couple of weeks because they play the Saints in New Orleans on November 4th. Play the Seahawks at home. They'll win that one. And then a night game, ESPN, Monday night, Kansas City Chiefs, Rams-Chiefs in a couple of weeks.
You lose that one too.
Well, see, that's where like my brother was getting a little nervous was suddenly the Saints beat you. They're only one back. You got the Chiefs in 2 weeks. And
yeah.
As we've talked about, you really don't want to go to the Superdome for the NFC title game. You'd much rather have that thing out in L.A. So,
but the Rams don't get a big home crowd.
No.
That was a Packers crowd yesterday.
Yeah, it was a mild environment. And the Saints have a very difficult schedule still to go. They still got to play the Packers. They got to play the Panthers twice.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The Saints haven't run away from the Panthers yet.
They'll probably split with the Panthers.
Yeah.
Cam's having a big year.
I mean, I think the Saints are going to win the division, but they haven't run off from them.
I think the Saints are going to play in Los Angeles against the Rams for the NFC title. It'll be a hell of a game.
Rick Pitino hoping to become NBA coaching candidate as we're finishing up.
Why not?
Not coaching in college again.
No, sir.
So,
I don't know. The AFC is fascinating because unlike the NFC, the AFC is just kind of like the Chiefs, Patriots.
The Chiefs are there, but no one actually believes in them come playoff time because they haven't done it.
But that's all it is. It's because of past stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
There seems to be a mental block they have to get over, though.
Then the other big NFL story, let's touch it real quick, then we'll go.
Okay.
The Giants, I was working. It was my background game. Giants, Redskins yesterday. The Giants are this is not fair to pin this on Eli Manning. But as I wrote in 10 Thoughts, he's the face of the franchise. And it is going to get pinned on Eli Manning in the same way that losses get pinned on Blake Bortles or Andy Dalton or whoever loses. When you're the quarterback, it gets pinned on you. If you're the Giants, it's time to move on. It's obvious. If you're Eli, he has that clause in his contract, a no-trade clause. And if he wants it to be honored, okay, you negotiated it. If I were Eli, I would be pushing for I think I'd waive my no-trade clause.
When his brother went to another team, got another ring late in his career without tarnishing his legacy at all, still going to make things a Colt.
Well, he still came back to Indianapolis and got a standing ovation when he threw the pass to Reggie Wayne or whatever, Marvin Harrison, whoever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still beloved in Indianapolis.
2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. You don't lose those.
No. Why not take a shot in Jacksonville / whoever loses a quarterback here in the next few weeks?
Now, there's some teams that you give them a little bit of a competent quarterback for a little while that can make a run here.
And Eli does some things well, but their pass blocking is so bad that he can't move around and make the plays anymore. I mean, and if you're New York, you've got to – whoever is there right now is the other quarterback. It's time to give him a chance. See what the hell you've got, because you're about to be picked first in the draft.
No doubt about that one.
And so it's time to think about what you've got.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Talk about it as the week goes on. A lot of stuff at rebelgrove.com. We'll have press conference comments and reaction today there on the site. So go check it out. Again, thanks to Dead Soxy. We'll have soft verbal as the week goes on. And thanks to all of you for hanging in there as I try to get through this hour with my voice and apparently to some extent accomplish that. So we'll talk to you tomorrow.